How much money would you make if you owned every car brand? Imagine you wake up tomorrow and you own every car company on Earth. Toyota, Volkswagen, Mercedes, Ferrari, Ford, all of them. Every car that gets sold anywhere on the planet, that's your cut. 86 million vehicles a year. Every dealership, every factory, every logo. So here's the question nobody actually does the math on. How much money lands in your pocket? Because the number is almost incomprehensible. And the part of that'll actually surprise you, it's not what you think. Part 1. The numbers that make your brain hurt. The global car industry generated $2.9 trillion in revenue in 2024. Not billion, trillion. To put that in perspective, the entire US federal budget is about $6.8 trillion. You, as the owner of every car brand on Earth, would be pulling in almost half of that every single year. But here's where it gets interesting. Not every brand prints money the same way. At the top of the pyramid sits Volkswagen Group, with $348.6 billion in revenue in 2024. That's one company. And Volkswagen isn't just one brand. It owns Audi, Porsche, Lamborghini, Bentley, Bugatti, Seat, Skoda. 12 brands under one roof. That's the first thing you learn when you own cars. The real money isn't in selling one badge. It's in owning the whole shelf. Toyota is right behind at around $316 billion. And it's the best-selling automaker on the planet by units. 10.39 million vehicles in 2024 alone. 1 in every 8 cars sold on Earth is a Toyota product. Then you've got General Motors and Ford, the American giants. GM at roughly $187 billion. Ford at $185 billion. 2 companies. Between them, they dominated the 20th century. Between them, they're still massive. Mercedes-Benz and BMW sit lower in raw revenue, around $130 to $154 billion each. But they play a completely different game. They sell fewer cars and make dramatically more money per vehicle. A BMW 7 Series carries margins that a Toyota Corolla never will. And then there's Ferrari, $6.7 billion in revenue in 2024. That sounds tiny next to Toyota, but Ferrari's net profit margin, over 20%. They sell exclusivity, not transportation. If you want to go deeper on which brand makes the most per car, drop a comment. Next video. Part 2. What you actually keep. Here's the cold water nobody pours on this fantasy. Revenue is not profit. The car business is brutally expensive. You're running factories, paying union wages, shipping steel across oceans, running dealership networks, funding billion-dollar EV transitions, and navigating tariffs that can shift overnight based on a presidential tweet. Toyota, the most profitable of the mass-market giants, runs a net profit margin of about 7.7%. That means for every $100 of cars they sell, they keep roughly $7.70. Volkswagen Group is even thinner, closer to 1.6% net margin in 2024. After paying for factories, workers across 12 brands, and a costly EV pivot, the profit slice gets very small, very fast. The premium brands do better. Kia, yes Kia, posted the highest profit margin among global automakers in 2024 at 11.8%, driven by a surge in high-margin SUVs and hybrids. Ferrari is its own category entirely. $6.7 billion revenue. Over $1.3 billion in net profit. They don't sell volume, they sell waiting lists. So if you add up the realistic profit across every brand combined, you're probably looking at somewhere between $150 to $200 billion a year in net profit across the entire global industry in a good year. That's your actual take-home. $150 to $200 billion per year. Every year. Part 3. The brand that shouldn't work but does. Let's pause on Ferrari for a second, because it breaks the logic of everything else. Ferrari sold 13,752 cars in 2024. That's not a typo. Toyota sold that many cars in a quiet Tuesday in suburban Japan. But Ferrari made over $1.3 billion in profit from 13,752 cars. The average selling price of a Ferrari is nearly $400,000. They have a waiting list longer than most mortgages. They turn away buyers. Billionaires beg to be allowed to spend money. And they spend almost nothing on advertising. The brand markets itself. Every Ferrari on the road is a billboard the owner paid for. This is the most counterintuitive business model in the car industry. Shrink supply, inflate desire, print money. Ferrari's market cap at the time of this video, over $80 billion. For a company that makes fewer cars per year than a single Ford plant makes in a week. This is where most people stop. Don't be most people. Subscribe if you want to understand how industries actually work. Not the surface level stuff, the math underneath it. Part 4. The costs that swallow everything. Here's why owning every car brand isn't purely euphoric. Labor. The auto industry employs around 3 million people directly worldwide in manufacturing alone. You're the boss of all of them. The UAW alone can shut down GM with a vote. In 2023, a 6-week UAW strike cost the Detroit automakers an estimated $10 billion in lost production. The EV transition. Every legacy automaker is spending tens of billions trying to retool for electric. Volkswagen committed to spending over $190 billion on EV and technology development through the decade. Part 5. The actual math. So let's run the final numbers. You own everything. What does the spreadsheet say? Global auto industry revenue, approximately $2.9 trillion. Average net margin across the industry, approximately 6 to 7%. Your realistic annual profit, approximately $150 to $200 billion. For reference, Apple, the most profitable company in human history, makes around $93 billion in net profit per year. You're compounding a fortune that makes most nation-state budgets look modest. But here's the real answer to the original question. The car business isn't actually about selling cars. It's about selling financing, insurance, software, and service contracts attached to cars. Ford Credit, Ford's financing arm, is consistently more profitable than Ford's car business. GM Financial, Toyota Financial Services. The metal is almost the loss leader. The loan is the product. Which means if you owned every car brand, the most valuable thing you'd own isn't the factories or the brands or the designs, it's the paper. The billions in auto loans sitting in finance divisions worldwide. The car is just how they get you to sign. That's the whole machine. $2.9 trillion in revenue, $150 to $200 billion in profit, 3 million employees, a 100-year-old industry sprinting to reinvent itself before the EV cliff arrives. If you made it this far, you understand something most people in this industry don't fully admit. The car is the hook. Everything that comes after it is the business. If you found this useful, share it with someone who thinks they know how the car industry works. And subscribe. Next video breaks down what actually happens when a major automaker goes bankrupt. See you there.